أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وجاءت كل نفس معها سائق وشهيد قد كنت في غفلة من هذا فكشفنا عنك غطاءك فبصرك اليوم حديد. Allah Azza wa Jal tells us in ayah number 21 of Surat-ul Qaf that with every person that comes on the Day of Judgment, there will be two angels accompanying that person. One of them is called a sa'iq and the other one is called a shaheed. What is the meaning of the word sa'iq? The word sa'iq means the one who guides, who gives direction to a person. This is why in Arabic, you call the person who drives a car, you call them a sa'iq. This is the name. Because the purpose of a driver is to direct you and get you from one place to another. And so each person will be designated as sa'iq Day of Judgment. And the purpose of this sa'iq is that this person is going to be guided by the sa'iq to the gathering place. The place where we will all be gathered, questioned, and then directed to our ultimate destination. As well as there is a shahid. And a shahid here is a person or is an angel that witnesses either for that slave or against that slave. So that person, the shahid, and the sa'iq, these two angels are designated for this particular job. One of them is to direct, the other one is to testify either for that slave or against that slave. In the 22nd ayah, Allah Azza wa Jal tells us that indeed, لَقَدْ كُنْتَ فِي غَفْلَةٍ, indeed mankind has been in a state of heedlessness where their hearts, their actions have been hard and cold. Whenever reminders, ayat, ahadith, guidance came to them, it came as though their hearts were sealed. Their eyes were blind, their ears were sealed. Everything was blind to them. And so this is a state of ghafla. And Allah Azza wa Jal says in ayah number 22 that indeed mankind was in a state of ghafla, and now we have removed a covering. In other words, now Allah Azza wa Jal, even though that person is in this state, now on the Day of Judgment, Allah Azza wa Jal will expose that person. No hiding anymore. So whatever they felt inside of them, even if they wanted to portray the opposite, now on the Day of Judgment, Allah Azza wa Jal revealed that covering from them, and your eyesight will be sharp on that day. فَكَشَفْنَا عَنْكَ غِطَاءَكَ فَبَصَرُكَ الْيَوْمَ حَدِيدٌ. So on that day, Tafseer rahimahullah tells us that the sight of each and every person will be made clear to them. And the reason for this is that Allah Azza wa Jal is going to allow every single person to be able to see what is happening around them, from the chaos and the confusion and the fright and the fear that everyone will have on that day. Allah Azza wa Jal wants especially those who disbelieve to see it. So if they were blind in the state of ghafla, they were heedless to the commands of Allah Azza wa Jal in the dunya, this will not happen in the akhirah. Whatever realities they were trying to run away from, it will be brought in front of them. And if you want to know more about what this term, this principle al-ghafla is, heedlessness towards the commands of Allah Azza wa Jal, I think about 2 years ago I did a lecture here in this masjid, and it is entitled Al-Ghafla, and in it I've discussed different types of people. How do you know if you're in the state? How do you come out of the state? And the various evidences from the Quran and Sunnah, and I believe that perhaps it might still be available here in the bookstore. And I encourage you all to have this CD with you. It is an important part of our lives that we understand what is ghafla. The problem with this particular state is that people are in it and don't know that they're in it. I'll give you an example. A person might be given so much wealth, so much honor, position, family, the fanciest cars, the biggest homes, everything. And they themselves will say that Allah Azza wa Jal loves me. This is why I have all of this. And what happens as a result? They end up becoming blind to their own mistakes. So this person, because so blind by all the ni'mah and wealth around him, he will go to a lecture, he will go to a khutbah, join a class, whatever the case is. He will be hearing قال Allah wa قال Rasul constantly all the time, yet it will not affect him. Yet that person will still backbite. That person will not lower his gaze. That person will speak about people, spread mischief and fasad into the community. But at the end of the day, he is too blind to see that mistake, because why? He's living the good life. He has a beautiful home, he has beautiful children, he has his wife, or whatever the case is, she has her husband, and they're just living a wonderful life, traveling the world, etc., etc., etc. This is a person who has fallen in the state of ghafla, yet they are blind to their own state. And the ulama, rahmatullahi alayhim, teach us that this is ashaddul khatar. This is the most dangerous test of Allah Azza wa Jal. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests us something good rather than something bad. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to save us from being in the state of al-ghafla. Furthermore, in this particular ayah, in ayah number 22, Allah Azza wa Jal makes it clear to us that we will have good sight. And it is also mentioned in another surah, Surah Sajda, رَبَّنَا أَبْصِرْنَا وَسَمِعْنَا فَارْجِعْنَا نَعْمًا صَالِحًا إِنَّا مُوقِنُونَ. We have now seen, the disbelievers will say this on Yawm al-Qiyamah, we have now seen, we have now heard, so give us a chance, let us go back. Now we've seen that the reality is in front of us. We're seeing the confusion. We're seeing that now this is the day. Everyone is hufatan, uratan, murla. They are naked by themselves and they're standing in front of Allah Azza wa Jal. Now we know and we understand that this was a ultimate reality. And they will beg, فَارْجِعْنَا نَعْمًا صَالِحًا. Have us return back to the dunya in order that we can do righteous deeds. Because now we know for sure where we're going. And Allah Azza wa Jal tells us that no matter how many times we were to be sent back, those people were to be sent back into the dunya, no matter how many times you send them back, they will still fall into the exact same state. And so, this is going to be the state of those especially who have disbelieved in Allah Azza wa Jal.